everyone.
What would you do if you had my life? Work like me, had them stripes. Would you go hard just to have that ice? But I'm just there trying to have that price. Get a yo cooking about to add that spice. Nowadays dudes never had that fight. When it push bill, better burst your pipes. What would you do if you had my life? Work like me, had them stripes. Would you go hard just to have that ice? But I'm just there trying to have that price. Get a yo cooking about to add that spice. Nowadays dudes never had that fight. When it push bill, better burst your pipes.
The WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by the SGPN app. Get all of our picks and podcasts for free with the SGPN app. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no voice, no guys. Me, really raw, feeling raw. Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. It has been an eventful Sunday from, I don't know, a crazy 1,000,000-point game between the Indiana Fever and the Minnesota Lynx.
And the Sparks game. That also had like 100-something points.
Yeah, it's a bunch of points in the Sparks game as well. All the way to Roman Reigns retaining the championship, and all the way to, the vile Haley somehow winning HOH. That is horrible. And then to top it all off, I'm not going to spoil it for many, but House of the Dragons. Whew, things are heating up in the Seven Kingdoms. Scott Studio Reichel. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beam me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, a pretty interesting day in the WNBA. A lot of close games early, high scoring. Then the last two games sucked. It is what it is. The Wings blow out the Sun, happens, and you also saw the Valkyries blow it open in the second half against the Tempo. You also had a whole separate conversation about Cheryl Reeves' T-shirt. That's a whole separate point too. But either way, it was a pretty eventful day in the WNBA. And of course, we have a trade to talk about.
Yeah, a lot of news to talk about over the weekend. I've hit my lock over the weekend.
So
Sky, Sun over very much. So new mojo's already hitting through 2-0 in the lock category right there. Didn't get the dog.
Wait, the underdog though.
Yeah, we did get underdog. Shout out underdog. Got a nice hit there on underdog. Didn't get the dog as I thought the Aces would beat the Liberty by double digits, and they didn't. But they still got the cover, actually, in that game. A lot to talk about. Good mojo in the air. Let's go ahead and talk about the breaking news really quickly. Because in case you've been under a rock, the WNBA just had the trade deadline. And, well, in lesser news, Anissa Morrow has been traded from the Sun over to the Tempo. Scott, immediate thoughts?
Good move. Doesn't move the needle at all, but we like Morrow as a player. We know Connecticut stinks, and she is, in my opinion, too good to be on a team that bad. So they're going to throw her with an expansion team. We'll see next year when Sykes is healthy. We'll see what happens with her, Mabry, and Morrow together as a big three, so to speak. But it's a solid get for Toronto. Of course, you get a player who can dominate the interior. Is she an elite player? No. But I think we'd agree that she can definitely make an all-star team. I think she's talented enough to be an all-star. So I like the get for Toronto. For Connecticut, you could argue there wasn't really a fit for her on the team because you're not good anyway. So you might as well get some players out of it or some actual, future picks. But I like the move for Toronto. I think we agree Morrow's pretty good.
yes, biggest loser in the Toronto Tempo and the Connecticut Sun trade, the New York Liberty. I would say they are the biggest loser because they did not get a decent Morrow. Now, in bigger news of the trade deadline, and the only other trade really to talk about at the deadline, Kelsey Plum has been traded from the Los Angeles Sparks to the Phoenix Mercury. The Mercury sent over Monique Okolo-Makani, and a first-round pick and a second-round pick. I think that the Los Angeles Sparks are a poverty franchise.
They're not Chicago, but they're not doing too well for themselves.
And if they were not in LA, they would probably be the franchise that is getting relocated over to Houston. Or they would be the future franchise that gets relocated over to Miami.
I think we agree, though, biggest poverty franchise still probably Chicago after the Reese trade.
Yes, in terms of, I mean, honestly, I think that in recent history, the questionable moves, I just have a larger sample size of Chicago, but the Los Angeles Sparks have mortgaged away their future for, yes, an additional pick in a 2027 loaded draft class. But that's it. They have gotten nothing out of this. They have missed out on Paige Beckers. They have missed out on Dom Malonga. They have missed out on Olivia Miles. They have missed out on so many players trying to buy into this thing that did not work out for them. By the way, Nneka is on her last legs. The LA name is saving them. And for Phoenix, I think this is actually the start of something new. Little High School Musical reference. Because I truly believe that this is a tremendous offensive threat that they have now brought in, and they can maybe hide her enough defensively in the playoffs. Is probably going to be why they don't win a championship, is because teams will just hunt Plum in the playoffs. But for the most part, the ball screens with Plum and AT should be chef's kiss. I think AT and just having Plum and Copper playing around her is going to play a lot better, probably a lot more freer, and we'll see AT driving more to the basket because the floor is so spaced out, because you have to be concerned about those threats. And if they just crank up the notch defensively, like, this could be a Phoenix Mercury team that I think is interesting. And if the Liberty were bad enough, or the Mystics were able to fall off the complete earth in the second half of the season, they might try to make a run. But more or less, I say all this to say, I think they have enough to re-sign Plum and keep her there in future years, which makes Phoenix in the future a lot more interesting. So when the Sparks got what they could.
Yeah.
Probably was a bad idea from the inception.
Well, the main issue you ran into, though, was that it was basically decided unofficially that Plum was not coming back. So you had to get rid of her. So the argument was there was basically no leverage there, because you knew once the season was over, Plum was gone anyway. So they got a first-round pick out of it. I get why the Mercury, despite not being good this season, decided to make somewhat of an all-in push. One is because we saw last year they made the finals. So we know that they have the, I'd say, main roster infrastructure when healthy to be dangerous. Now, of course, the main issue this season was Satu left, and they just didn't have, in my opinion, enough bodies because a lot of people got injured, etc. So getting Plum can help you with shot creation. Also, AT's 34 years old. Yep. I think people don't realize that when it comes down to preparing for the future, this is what the Mercury have. When they acquired AT, they were trying to win titles with her on the roster. And at 34, you kind of have to make this push, because what are you going to do? You're going to wait until AT's 37 or 38 years old past her prime? You can't do that. So you have to make a push for it. Are they good enough to win a title? No, I don't think so. But I do understand the move for the Mercury. They got better very quickly while AT's reaching the final couple of years of her career. So I didn't mind the move. I didn't mind it that much for the Sparks. At the end of the day, like, they're not a good team. We know this. And as you said, they're a poverty organization that's being shielded in LA. So I'm not really surprised that they gave her away for a package like this. But I think we knew going into the year that the Sparks were a team we didn't like.
It's not even that they
Sparks.
gave her away. I think it's more of the fact of like you had no plan, no solidified plan set in place for her to want to stay.
Yeah.
And that's where you ultimately went wrong with this. You went and you brought in this player and you sold this dream of you were going to turn around into this team, and you did not do that. And now the player wants to leave, and now you have to get whatever you can to kind of make up for your investment, which you ultimately will never do. Why? Because you are a poverty franchise. The Los Angeles Sparks are going to be in hell for a long time. They need a overhaul shift of the whole organization to get out of this, because they're going to continue to make decisions like this and continue to fall short time after time after time. Trading Rakia that wasn't the first domino to fall, but that should have been the moment that everybody realized, yes, they're completely not being serious right now.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we've been very low on the Sparks power ranking wise for years, and I feel like people kept overrating them. But I think it's a good move for Phoenix. Is it going to suddenly propel them to a playoff spot? I don't know. But they definitely got better. And as for the Sparks, they knew they weren't very good. Plum was injured anyway, and they said, you know what, we'll tank. So here we are.
All right. Whew. Hey, we're giving away an exclusive SGPN DGens only jacket for free. Only for subscribers, though. So go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/jacket to enter that contest today. All right, Scott, let's get a game out the way. Let's talk about the New York Liberty at home welcoming the Seattle Storm. Storm catching 8.5 on the road. 181 is the total. Phoebus Sabally going to be out still. Nothing on the report for the Seattle Storm. Talked about Seattle and their play recently, and the fact that they've been red hot in terms of covering the spread, 8-2 to the number in their last 10 games. The issue is that they can't win games, and they are 1-9 straight up in that span. Liberty, on the other hand, been horrible, as we've mentioned plenty of times on this show.
I don't cover, but they win.
Barely.
Yeah.
5-5 over the last 10 games of the New York Liberty straight up. 1-8-1 against the spread. I mean, you're not going to get a Liberty take from me right now.
Me neither.
I'm completely for just still fading this team. We have a Storm team that's been playing red hot, Storm team that's been playing a lot more free, a lot more up and down with the basketball, been scoring the basketball a lot better. Heidemann, Damalonga, Flage, like they've been helping the scoring output of this team. Going up against the Liberty squad that hasn't been able to stop anybody, get and play any sort of level of defense at all whatsoever. So, I mean, yeah, the Chicago Cheetahs talking about in the chat, love the over in the game, but
that was my lock last episode. I just keep taking overs in Liberty games. They just keep getting there.
I can't imagine myself fading the Seattle Storm right now for a team like the Liberty. Like, it would have to be a team that's playing a lot better than the Liberty for me to fade the Storm right now.
Yeah, I can't lay 8.5. The Liberty, shout out to Ionescu, by the way, who basically carried them to a win against Phoenix the other day. She had like a fringe triple-double there. But do you think the Liberty are going to potentially trade John Quell? Because I don't know what's happening right now. John Quell and the coaching staff clearly aren't seeing eye to eye, because she's been horrendous lately, and they've been playing better when she's been on the bench. Now, you can argue, of course, All-Star Game MVP, John Quell Jones. Playoffs come around, you want her around because she won Finals MVP. She's a very solid player, obviously, but clearly whatever system the Liberty are running with DeMarco is not built for the skill set that John Quell has. Can we agree on that?
Either it is not built for, he refuses to use it, probably goes into the fact of him being a shitty coach, honestly, because I don't understand how you have a former MVP, Finals MVP, All-Star MVP, Commissioner's Cup MVP, champion, and you can't make it fucking work. Like, I mean, she's not even used to you on the glass because he's got her standing over there at the three-point line all fucking game.
Yeah, pretty much. And she gets hunted on defense all the time. It is what it is. But I'll go with the Storm. We saw them beat the Liberty by double digits in the first meeting of the season. Yes, that was in Seattle, but until the Liberty actually cover any spread consistently, let alone winning by basically 3-4 plus possessions, I can't do it. If you want to go for Liberty 1-10, I don't mind it because every Liberty game feels like an absolute circus until the very end. And the Liberty find a way to win by like 3 points every time. So I don't mind the Liberty to win 1-10, but I'm not laying 8.5. I can't do it.
Helms, I'm not concerned about the Storm across the country in this spot. They played at Atlanta on the 31st. They've been on this side of the coast since 31st.
They've been on for 2 days. So they could have gone to New York earlier if they wanted to.
Yeah, like they kept that game against Atlanta pretty close. They lost that game by 9. So, I mean, that's probably the only concerning thing is that maybe this is close, maybe Liberty by 9, maybe by 10. But I like a better chance of just believing in what I've seen in this Liberty team, which is they played the Mercury 94-92. They played Chicago 95-94. They played the the Los Angeles Sparks, aforementioned at Los Angeles Sparks, that I just went on a monologue about how much of a poverty organization they are. 113-109. Went to Dallas and played Dallas. No Paige Beckers, 99-98. So like every single chance they've gotten, they've underachieved. Shout to Jimmy also in the chat pointing out that this is the first leg of a deja vu spot. So
I'm not sure I'm taking the Liberty in either game. We'll get to that another day, but I can't trust the Liberty at all. The Storm aren't good, but they're feisty. And when you're getting 8.5 points, that's all you need. Which I think we agree with.
Yeah, because if they lose outright to the Storm in this first game, it would be the smart thing to take the Liberty in the second game. It would, but the Liberty would also just very much suck. I don't think the Storm are not live at all. They're not. Well, no, they're
if
not
healthy,
live.
They're definitely live.
I think they're not live. Yeah, so give me the Seattle Storm plus the points, sprinkle on that plus 340 money line, and over.
Okay.
Love the lack of defense. First of all, I love the amount of pace that's been played in these two games, which is odd because the Liberty just, if you want to be a better defensive team and what they've known to be better in the past, they've been better slowing the ball down, but the pace has been sped all the way up between these two teams. And so, especially the Seattle Storm team. So expect to see them going up and down, up and down, up and down. 96 points per game in the last 10 games given up by the New York Liberty, 91.3 for the Seattle Storm. Expect to see a lot of points. Those people that used to say that the WNBA is an under league because nobody can make a shot, I'm losing a lot of money this season. Overs are insane. Overs have been insane. The people that have been like, take the unders on the players, y'all have been losing a lot of money.
Yeah. You have any thoughts to Mike's question on who's the worst coach out of the three, Marsh, Roberts, or DeMarco? It's a good question. It's very, very tough.
I actually don't think Tyler Marsh should be in this conversation.
I'm going to give Marsh a pass. I think Marsh, do I think he's a great coach? No, Chicago stinks and Rakia got injured. Like, what are you supposed to do?
But if you looked at over the past, 2 months, maybe not even 2 months. I'll give you a month. No, they've been the number one scoring offense up there with Indiana. They have been dominant at home in terms of covering the number, going out, competing in the games, even went and just got the win against the Aces. Like, they have been doing a lot with the trash particles that they have over there, and injuries have played a part. Like, I don't think Marsh should be in the conversation.
And there had to have been some development from the coaching staff with Sydney Taylor.
Yes.
She came out of nowhere and became like a really good player. I got to give some credit to coaching there. Roberts, the Sparks are definitely bad, but when you factor in the talent there, I think I got to go DeMarco, right? I think Roberts stinks, but I think DeMarco, with the talent they have on that roster, I have to at least, in my opinion, put either one or two.
I thought Chris DeMarco should have been fired that game against the Wings, where he allowed the Wings with no pagebackers to go on a run for the entirety of the quarter as they proceeded to score 9 points that quarter.
They won the game. They only had like 2 points in the first 7 minutes.
And he
of the quarter.
didn't call timeout until 1:44 left in the quarter. They went on a run for the entire 8 minutes before that. 1:44 left. He finally calls timeout to stop the run.
I think Marcia's bad too. Like it's a fair trio. I would personally go to Marco, but because I called it in game 2 of the season, so I'm a little bit biased against DeMarco. But I think we'd agree though with the talent the Liberty have, even with injuries, 17-13 is kind of pathetic. They're the highest win total in the league.
Oh, if there was anybody that was competent on the bottom of the standings, they would be threatened for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
They would I think now they just literally don't have anybody threatening them. We'll see what the Mercury can do because they'd have to go on a crazy run with like 14 games left. But like, no, 100%. I really think that should be one and done. Like, I think DeMarco should be a one and done season. I really, really do. Okay. I will actually be a little bit upset if he's coaching this team again next year. All right. Let's see here. Before we get to the rest of the slate, got to talk to the people about Underdog spreads, money lines, totals, parlays, all available over there. Underdog Fantasy plus Baseball Mania is the best way to play fantasy football. $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. I have no idea what I would do if I somehow won the $2 million in first place. I think I would immediately have to go off the grid, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Just immediate off the grid and just kind of start to figure things out from there. And once everything is in order and I have, safes and security and all of that, maybe I'll come back. But other than that, immediate off the grid. You'll only see me through this box that you're watching me through now. Hey, pick higher or lower your favorite players' fantasy stats, and you could cash out over there at Underdog. New customers play just $5. Get $50 in bonus funds when you use that sign-up code NBA SGPN. All right. Let's see here. We're also brought to you by Call Sheet. You can trade spreads, money lines, totals, futures, all that available for you over there at Call Sheet. Hey, Call Sheet has everything, and they're available in a ton of states. Terms and conditions do apply. Make sure you go over there and check out Call Sheet. Trade $25 and get up to $500 over on Call Sheet. Use promo code SGPN. That's Call Sheet, KALSHI, promo code SGPN. All right, let's get to the next game on the slate. The Las Vegas Aces are on the road going to play the Atlanta Dream. It's going to be a really, really good freaking game. Line sitting there at 1.5. 183 is the total. I'm sorry, Aces are laying 1.5 on the road. 183 is the total. I don't have much of an injury report. I do know that Cheyenne Parker-Tyus is still out, not with the team right now. And Tina Pau is out for weeks, as we know. So here we are. Well, the first game came down to a last-second bucket by Chelsea Gray in Atlanta for them to be able to get this done. The South Carolina faithful will probably be in attendance in this game. Should be a rocking atmosphere for Asia Wilson coming back on this side of the coast down south. I have to wonder, and this is my question of the Atlanta Dream. And have the Atlanta Dream conquered their demons?
I was going to ask you where you stand because I know that we were pretty high in the Dream preseason. They've won 5 in a row. Do you think that they're just back on track now?
But it's like they've won these games and they continue to win these games. But I mean, outside of that game against Toronto before the All-Star break, Dallas game came down to some, almost voodoo magic. It feels like at the end with Dallas not getting a good shot off, barely beating the Sky, had to come back in that game. And the Seattle was there with them. I took Seattle in the points in that game. Like they were right there with them. So my question is, the Atlanta Dream come and play up the competition in this game and make this like one of those ones? And I think they do to an extent, but it's just if the Dreams start off slow as they typically do, and the Las Vegas Aces start off fast as they typically do, I think that a comeback in the second half against the Las Vegas Aces is asking for a lot. But it just seems like that's what this Dream team is built on. Like they're built on the second half surges, and all right, we may not play the best we can in the first half, but we are going to go on a run in the second half. We're going to close this out. We're going to go out and try to get a win. I'm 50-50 here. I really am.
I think the odds seem correct as far as I'm concerned. I do want to point out, by the way, though, that the Dream this season against teams above 500 are 10-8. The Aces are 9-7. So basically, exactly the same. The recent winning streak, though, has been against very weak competition for the Dream. They did beat the Wings barely in that game. But just in order here, they beat the Storm, beat the Wings on the road, beat the Sky, beat the Tempo, beat the Sparks. So really not beating anybody recently worth a damn besides the Wings. So you could argue that after the loss to Chicago, maybe the Aces were looking ahead to this game, and we end up seeing the Aces just kind of get some, I'd say, frustrations off their chest and win this game. I like the over. I mean, I just see points. I think both offenses can put up some points here, but I think it's going to be a really good game. I'm going to go with Atlanta. I don't really feel great about it. I'm probably not going to end up betting on it. I see Chicago mentioning, though, that Ryan Howard and Bree Jones, with regard to the first meeting this season, were out. So there are some reinforcements here, and yet the Dream still almost beat this team.
And that's the thing that I'm concerned about is the Bree Jones piece. Of course, Ryan Howard, of course, but like I'm dangerously concerned about Bree Jones in this game. And I just think that both her and Angel, that's going to be a lot for Asia to try to keep up with, because I think Melissa's not going to help out with that at all. So one of the two is probably going to have a really good game here on the offensive end. And that's where you really got to attack, because the Aces have been really, really good in just making sure that teams are not dominating them inside the paint while they're just going and hammering and demolishing teams inside the paint. And that's one thing the Dream has struggled with in this stretch of games is they've allowed kind of an open door over there by the rim. And that's somewhere I think the Aces do take advantage when teams give that to them. So the scoring should be up on the Aces side for sure. I'm sure the Dream are going to do their side of the scoring. Yes, I like the over. I like Aces.
I see a pure coin flip for me, but I'll pick the Dream at home. Angel was horrendous in the first meeting. And there was no Ryan Howard, there was no Bree Jones, and they still only lost by one. Angel Reese in the first meeting, 9 points on 1 of 8 shooting, 8 rebounds, and 8 turnovers. So she was horrific. Now, we expect Asia to do that to almost everybody because she's one of the best defensive players of all time. So Angel might end up struggling too, but the fact that Howard's healthy, you got Jones to help Angel out deal with Asia, I think that helps their chances. I'm probably not going to bet the side, but I'll go Dream. I think the Aces could be a bit trappy. It's not often you see them as a dog to anybody. So I'll go with the Dream. Maybe it's a trap line.
It is both. You could find a dog line on both of these two teams right now.
Jimmy also saying that Kennedy Carter had 20 points in the last meeting against Atlanta. Good point.
You guys are trying to get me back on my Atlanta bandwagon, but I got to trust the team that I've seen play good basketball right now.
It's a good point, though. You got to mention that. That's 20 points that vanished into the one-on-one league or wherever she is right now. Right? She's in a one-on-one league?
Yeah, y'all are making good points. You are. Jackie,
it's going to be a great game, though.
Yeah, I'm still on Aces. There are good points here.
Do you want Aces 1-10?
Yeah, I think if it does win, it comes down to the wire. So
I think it comes down to the wire.
I think whichever team you play, you probably play 1-10.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, over, Scott.
Yeah, I'm not taking the under.
Great. All right. Let's get to last game of the slate. Phoenix Mercury on the road going to play the Chicago Sky. Have the Mercury laying 1.5 here on the road. 175.5 is the total. Injury report. trade report or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, it might be a revenge game, but it might not be because we don't know if Plum's going to play.
Azare Stevens still out for personal reasons. Skylar Diggins is still not playing with the team. Sammy Whitcomb is questionable. And then, so Kelsey Plum is questionable for the game. I think there's uncertainty in the air because, one, she's got to pass, the physical. They got to see what's going on with the leg. I think we are in the timetable of when she was possibly going to return anyway. So this could be a, hush, hush. We're not going to talk about Plum coming back for this game, but Plum very well could come back for this game. Ultimately, for me, Scott, that would be the thing that would have to shift me over to Phoenix full time. Because if Plum is playing in the game, I just think that the offense is going to be absurd. And then I just think that it's just a morale boost for this Phoenix Mercury team. And if Plum is coming back and joining this team and they see how good that they all can look and she's healthy and they're all ready to play, I mean, it's a uphill battle to climb to catch the Liberty at 8, maybe the Mystics at 7, however those two teams decide to play at the end of the season. But it's a chance. And I think that they would very much go and be like, yo, let's try to run the table and go have that chance. Whereas if she doesn't play, you are now down Plum, Akol Makani, possibly Wickham. And Chicago's been very, very feisty, especially at home. So I think that's what it comes down to me. I would like to hear, maybe you can sway, but if Plum plays, or if there's an account that Plum is playing, I think it probably is better to handicap it as if she's not playing, because if she is playing, I think everybody should obviously be on Mercury in the spot. But if she doesn't play, Chicago's been playing really, really good ball right now, and they could steal one.
Yeah, you could also argue there's a hangover effect after beating the Aces, or maybe they just overlooked the Mercury
Potentially.
and fall back down to earth. It's a really tricky game, because if Plum was going to play, I probably would take the Mercury too. It's also just a good morale boost when your team's been struggling and your front office said, we're not going to tank, we're actually going for it. Mm-hmm. So get ready. I think that helps morale-wise, but Chicago's been playing better. Taylor's been great. They should have beaten the Liberty too. They choked away that game, but they've been playing good basketball. I think it's a close game. I still like the over, common theme. We have seen the Mercury have a couple of high-scoring games lately. They got to 180 against the Valkyries.
Yep.
That's almost impossible. So I'm going to go with the over in this game too. The Sky have played well offensively. They had a bunch of high-scoring games lately, though. They have really just picked it up offensively, and I think this game's going to be close. So I like the over. For the side, I guess I'll go Phoenix, but probably stay away. I'll just go for the over.
Yeah, the Aces hangover is a lot. I think I'm on Mercury regardless. I think I am. Clea Copper and AT can right the ship and handle things one way. And Chicago got their win. They're happy with that. 2 in a row. But they've been really, really good at home. That's the one thing I'm concerned about is just Chicago at home here. 7-3 in their last 10 games at home. 8-2 against the spread. Really, really good play at home. So, yeah, 175.5 is probably a gift of a total. Probably a gift. Yeah. We might talk about that in a second. All right. Well, that's it for that. Before we get to Lock Dog and Underdog, got to remind everybody, Circa Sportsbook is giving away at least $30 million in prizes for this year's handicapping contest. Make sure you go check them out over there at Circa. Sign up in Nevada and play from anywhere. Come out to Circa for contest weekend, August 27th through 29th, and you'll get 15% off your stay at the Circa with promo code SGP15. Plus, you're going to need a proxy if you're going to go do this. So head over to footballcontest.com. Use promo code SGPN to get $50 off your proxy fees. We're also brought to you by Novig. Novig means reduced juice. So if you use an odd screen, and, Novig has some of the best prices in the market. So make sure you go check them out. Head over there to Novig, download the app, and get 100% purchase match up to $25 when you use our promo code SGPN. That is Novig, promo code SGPN. All right. Next up,
I'm going
Lock.
first, right?
dog, underdog. Yes, you are, Scott. We went 1-0 in the locks. We hit the underdog lineup. You have the mojo. So that's how we'll do it. End of the season, Scott brings us home with the locks.
All right. For the lock, give me the Storm plus the points. I'm just going to go for it.
Wow.
Yeah, I almost took the over in the Mercury game, but I still want an update on Plum because if she ends up sitting, the line's going to drop, and I'd rather just not get a bad total based on injury news. So I might wait it out to see if the line drops at all. But I'm going to go with the Storm. The Liberty just can't cover. I mean, you read off the ATS numbers before. The fact is the Storm don't win many games, but they're competitive. I mean, the Dream game, they were getting blown out. They fought back, lost by 9. That was like a one-possession game late. Indiana, they scored 95 points. They still lost by 10. Minnesota, they gave 2 somewhat close games. They've played tough competition. Once again, they don't win, but they cover. And the Liberty barely beat the Mercury, lost to the Aces. That game against the Sparks was a war, and the Sparks stink. They should have lost to Chicago. I don't know what that was against the pageless Wings, but they won that game in overtime somehow. They just don't look good in any of these games. So I'm going to go for the Storm plus 8.5 as my lock for the show. For my dog, for this one, I might actually go with a player prop if we have alt lines, because I think that it's actually a pretty good spot to maybe fade, but I don't have it available. I was going to take the Angel under points, but I don't have that option because we know that Asia usually puts her in jail. But now I got to figure out what I want to do because I thought about maybe going for a 1-10, but I don't actually know which side. I could actually go with same game parlay or an over parlay. I'll do that instead. I'm going to go for an over parlay. So once again, my lock's the Storm plus 8.5. For my dog, I'm going to parlay the Liberty and Storm over with the, I'll do it actually. Give me the Mercury and Sky over as well. And if you want to parlay those two together, so Liberty Storm over 181.5, parlayed with the Mercury Sky over 178.5, you get plus 278. That's my dog.
All right. Like it. Lock. Let's go with the over 182.5 in the Las Vegas Aces in the Atlanta Dream game. Back and forth game, a lot of points, high energy, high pace, expect to see. And the Dream have not shored up anything defensively at all. And I don't think that they're just going to let the Aces walk all over them. So I like over 182.5 there. Dog. AT. 10 plus assists, plus 172. Going up against Chicago Sky defense. Not defensively sound at all whatsoever. If Plum plays, she's going to get maybe 3-4 off of Plum alone.
And Plum can play off ball, so she doesn't need the ball in her hands.
So if Plum doesn't play, well, guess what? AT's got the ball in her hands the whole game. Make something shake. I like AT to get double-digit assists here, so that's going to be my dog. And over to underdog, Scott.
You want to go? You want to start with AT assists?
Yeah.
Because I'm fully on board.
She's really been like really, really good. We haven't talked about it enough. Really good with the assists recently. All right. So AT, let's see if we can get her assists on the docket. 9.5 at Spicy. 8.5 at Spicy. Thank you.
Sure.
We have, I'm always good for Stewie and Asia. I'm always good for. We could throw those out there.
I'm fine with Stewie.
I think Bree Jones. I wonder if Bree Jones, especially coming off of the bench, if they still keep running Bree Jones. Oh, there's no options for her. Dang.
I was thinking of Malonga.
So Stewie and Malonga?
I don't mind that. You in?
Stewie and Malonga. Stewie's at 21.5. Malonga's at 14.5 points. Just points?
Yeah, I'm in for that. I mean, we think it's going to be a high-scoring game anyway, so.
AT higher, 8.5 assists. Brianna Stewart higher, 21.5 points. Dawn Malonga higher, 14.5 points. Put that in the $100, shake it up. You're going to get 7.09x, Scott. $100 gets you $709 over there at Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN. Anything else for people before we get up out of here?
Not really. Once again, pretty small card. Couple of interesting games is the word I'll use. But either way, let's make some money.
All right. He's at Restaurant Ready. I'm at ___. Make sure you give us a follow at SGPN NBA, youtube.com/NBA Gambling Podcast, and give us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get the WNBA Gambling Podcast. Make sure you're getting ready to burn the midnight oil. This could be in the future. With that, I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just going to like this. We are